Cassie Ventura and 3 other victims are getting ready to testify against Diddy. Cassie Ventura is ready to testify against Diddy with her real name being known to the media and to the public. But the other 3 victims against Diddy want to remain anonymous to the media and the public, but they will be known to Diddy and the jury. And right now, this is only a motion to the judge asking the judge if these 3 victims are able to remain anonymous to the public and to the media. Feds are alleging that victim 1, victim 2, and victim 3 were trafficked by Diddy by force, fraud, or coercion. And victim 4 is one of Diddy's former female employees who is alleging that they were put through forced labor, including physical activities with Diddy through force and threats of serious harm. In Diddy's new charges that he just got hit with the other day, it alleges that he trafficked victim number 2, and this happened from 2021 up until 2024. And I found some interesting information that might be about this. Back on September 27th of 2024, there was this lawsuit filed by this woman alleging that she was with Diddy during this time frame and she lost a baby, and all of the allegations that center around these trafficking charges. And I found it super strange. Out of all of the lawsuits that were filed against Diddy, this one in particular was sealed from the public shortly after it was filed. In this lawsuit, it was filed by a Florida woman who filed as a Jane Doe who worked as a model and claims that she was forced to travel and perform for Diddy many times in the last few years. She alleged in this lawsuit that her and Diddy started seeing each other in 2021, the same date that we see the feds listing in this trafficking charge. She said that she was flown to different states, including California, New York, by his company Bad Boy Enterprise to have physical relationships with him. According to the filing, the victim often felt coerced into going to see Diddy by members of his team and Diddy's chief of staff, Christina Korm. And she alleged that Christina Korm was among the agents who would pay for her travel to see Diddy. She also said that the staffers would send drivers to her home to pick her up before she agreed to travel, to the point where she did not believe she had a choice but to go. Through the spring of 2022, she was ordered to take a lot of illegal substances, a lot of which are listed in Diddy's indictments. And she was forced to have physical relations with Diddy in his homes in Los Angeles and Miami. She said at one point while she was on these substances, it caused her to black out intermittently, and on one of the occasions she woke up and her feet were purple and bruised and she had a bite mark on her heel, but she had no memory of how she got the injuries. That summer, she alleged that she found out that she was pregnant and she told Diddy about it, but at the time, Diddy's girlfriend, Young Miami, harassed her by repeatedly calling her and ordering her to have an abortion, which automatically made me think of one of Diddy's ex-girlfriends who we heard from publicly who had a very similar story, but these 2 stories are not the same. We also saw Young Miami going at Gina in a very disgusting way. Gina, you have been down bad ever since you came into the picture. You've been crying for a baby for 10 years. You've been around as a that eats when he feels like it. You're an eater. You are the same person that was crying on Tasha K because you wanted a baby. I wanted you to eat. Diddy would have had you on your knees. You're a eater. Even though I don't think that victim number 2 that we are talking about now is Gina, I do think it is very possible that Gina is victim number 3, because we all watched what she said very publicly, and she also had her allegations and even said that she was around during the same time as Cassie Ventura. The stories that we are hearing in this lawsuit that could be victim number 2 because of the time frames and what's being alleged is very similar to what we heard Gina reference, but we know based off of the time frame that victim number 2 wouldn't be her. Now, the Jane Doe that filed this lawsuit also said that he would continue to command her to travel with him until July of 2024, the same time frame in the indictment for victim number 2. And then this right here is the bombshell. She said at the time, Diddy was continuing to contact her in an attempt to intimidate her, which we know is exactly what the feds alleged Diddy was doing and why he was denied bail. Diddy himself has contacted witnesses, including those who received grand jury subpoenas from the government in this case. And the contact occurred prior to the dates of the testimonies or meetings with the government. In one case with an individual who hadn't spoken with the defendant in years prior to his reach out, the defendant also directly contacted at least one victim, which I will circle back to momentarily. And the feds said that they have these phone calls. They said in these phone calls with the victim that they mentioned, there were 2 calls. The victim is financially supported by Diddy, and 2 calls were recorded. In these phone calls, Diddy asked for the victim's support and friendship and attempts to convince her that she had willingly engaged in these physical acts with him. Diddy then assures her that if she continues to be on his side and provide support and friendship, that she doesn't have anything else to worry about, which I assume what he was referencing was this financial support that he was already offering this woman. During this same time, it's also when we saw Dawn Richard be brought up about how Diddy was contacting witnesses and things like that were supposed to testify to the grand jury. They brought up how Diddy contacted Kalina Harper after Dawn Richard filed her lawsuit against Diddy, and the feds said that Dawn Richard's lawsuit overlaps in time period with the events in this criminal case. They said that Diddy called or texted Kalina Harper 58 times in 4 days. So I think it is very possible that victim number 4 that we are hearing about forced labor and being a former female worker of Diddy, is really Dawn Richard. And this is why they said at the time that Diddy was harassing one of the witnesses in the case, which would have been Kalina Harper. And if she is a witness, then we can assume that there is a good possibility that Dawn Richard is one of the victims in Diddy's criminal trial. Because mind you, a lot of the things in Dawn Richard's lawsuit also involved Cassie Ventura. That is why the feds said that they overlap with this criminal case. We do know the only person that is going to move on so far with their full name and has no problem with it is going to be Cassie Ventura. But y'all, let me know what you guys think about all this in the comments.